There are no excuses. If you find one, hit it with a 2x4. That's what Miss Jennifer likes to say. Yes, you will be tired. You should be tired. It's called work. But you need to push yourself. You need to get outside your comfort zone and you need to make this stuff happen. You need to go ahead and do it. Now, if you've enrolled 15 people, then guess what? You can maybe put 2 or 3 of them in there and you can do the rest of them next year. You're not going to plan. If you don't plan anything, you're failing. You're going to fail because how does the sailing go? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So don't do that. You got to make yourself do this. And it's nothing that's easy to do. It's leadership in time and time, not in time. Leadership and time is what we're going to go over today. And just a couple of thoughts on leadership first, and then we'll get into the subject here. Leadership is about showing and teaching the leaders on your team how to play the game of life. Okay, that's 1. 2, leading others means you have to lead yourself in such a way that your leadership will be worthy to follow. Oh yeah, that one ought to stick in your craw for a second. Leading others means you have to lead yourself in such a way that your leadership would be worthy to follow. All right, so today we're going to talk about leadership of the day. This is Tuesday, of the day, of any day of the week. And what this is entailing is talking about the way you look at your day, the way you break your day up into sections, quadrants, minutes, hours, seconds, however you look at your day. We are going to look at that today and we're going to break it up. And we're going to break it up so that you can actually see how you spend your time and how we possibly could spend our time a little better. What you're going to need to do is you need paper and a pencil, or you need your computer, whatever you want to do. And you need to number 1 through 14, because we're going to go through 14 different sections, time slots of your day. And if you go, oh my gosh, I only have 3. I wake up, I go to work, and I come home. Well, you're fixing to add a bunch more to them today. And even if you don't have these, I want you to pretend like you do have these, because this is real important exercise for you to see exactly what you do, why you do it, and when you do it. So let's get going. Let's look at the typical day of a martial arts business owner. I got my notes. So number 1, you're going to write this down unless you can't. Wake up time. That's what I want you to write down. What is your wake up time? What time do you get out of the bed? What time do you set your alarm clock for? And what time you get out of the bed is not necessarily the same thing. A lot of times you set your alarm clock and then you hit the S button, snooze, 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 snooze. And then you get up an hour later. But I want to know what time the alarm clock goes off, so that whether you get up or not, you know. I don't want you to tell me, I want you to write it down. All right, the second thing, you just write down the words morning routine. If you don't know what this means, I'll explain it to you. Morning routine is simply after you get out of the bed, what do you do? What is your routine? You go brush your teeth, you do this, you do that, you do all the other stuff that you need to do. But what is your routine? And how long is that routine? So we have a timeline that we're working on here. You have a time in which you woke up. So, hello, Mr. Cosmo, how are you doing, sir? So you have a time in which you woke up. You set your clock. I'm not going to tell you what that is. That's different for everybody. You have a morning routine. It started when your feet hit the floor. Your morning routine, how long did it take? So you're doing this chronologically. If you woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and your routine was an hour, then that means it's now 5 o'clock. And some of you may wake up that early. I have no idea. I don't wake up that early. Okay. So your morning routine, boom, you got that. Now, next, this isn't going to vary for everybody. Your commute to work. If you have to get in a vehicle and get to work, how long does it take you? And you, for sake of making this easy for addition, you need to do quarter hours. If your work is 5 minutes away, put 15. If it's 25 minutes away, put 30. If it's 40 minutes away, put 45. I think you get the idea, because we're going to add up all this stuff at the end. So your commute to work. That is your drive to work. Or some cases, it may be your walk from your kitchen table where you just finished breakfast to your office where you work. I have no idea. If it's that, then you would put a 0 there because it didn't take you any time to get there. Now, the next part is your daily, weekly plan review. All right, your daily/weekly plan review. And here's what that means. If you don't have these things, that's okay. Just put a 0 down in that for that number. But these are things in some way, shape, or form you should have. They're just suggested for you. Everybody does things a little different, and you may have apps and things of that nature that help you out with planning out your day, and that's all cool. But I like good old pencil and paper and just making it happen. So your daily, weekly plan review. How long are you spending on that? You just got finished your commute to work. Now you're in your building, you're sitting down, you're in your office, you're sitting down. That goes from the time you got there until when? How long does that happen? If it doesn't happen, it's easy. Put a 0 down there. All right, next, your morning work. Okay, now this is different than your morning plan and review. Your plan and review is what you have planned the day before, the week before, the month before, and now those tasks are coming up and they're bouncing into your life on that day, and you're looking at them, making the adjustments that you may have to make that happen during the day. And then you actually go to work. If your job that day at that time is taking out the garbage in your building or cleaning your floors, if that's the work you have to do, that's what you would be doing. If it's sitting down and it's working on the stuff that you didn't get done at the end of the night before, then you're going to start and you're going to knock that out. So that will be your morning work. All right, now that should bring us up to lunch. And so whatever your lunchtime is, it should be at the end of whatever your morning work time was. And I know this might be a little confusing, but we're going to go over my numbers at the end so you can get an idea of how I break the day up. So you have lunch, and then after lunch, you have your afternoon work. You didn't get finished with your morning work because that's going to continue on until your afternoon work. So you have your afternoon work. It goes from after lunch until a period of time, which I can tell you now that period of time is going to be based on when you start your either team meetings for the day of you. If you have a team and you bring them in and you have a team meeting, a daily meeting where they going over certain numbers and they're going over what's going to be taught and they're going over all those things. If you have enough people to have a team meeting, then that afternoon work would go from after lunch until you get to that time. And when that time hits, it's what we call from then on out, it's what we call the whirlwind. The whirlwind is when you do not do anything important as far as try to plan out a month or a year, or try to figure out when you're going on vacation, or trying to figure out who you're going to hire, or doing hiring interviews or anything like that. You don't want to do that during the whirlwind. The whirlwind starts when you start your team meeting and it runs to the end of the night, whatever that is for you. But I want to break this down even more. So you have your afternoon work, it comes in and it starts, and then whatever time you start your team meeting, if you have one, if you don't have one, pretend you did. And that way you'll put a number down. And your team meeting, just to give you a hint, should be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes before the next one, which is your greeting and teaching time. So you open your doors at a certain time of the day. Otherwise, they're closed. Like right now here, I'm sitting in here doing this meeting and other people are in the building, and that's why the doors are unlocked. But while I was in here, the doors were locked. Somebody come to the door, beating on the door. I'm not going to the door. I'm working. I ignore them because it's my time. If they have a key, they can get in. And if they want to see me, they can come knock on my door. But if they don't have a key, they're not working with me. They're not on my team, not on the SKC team. They're not on 7-Figure Dojo team. And they're just maybe a UPS guy. I don't know. He'll leave the package outside. All right. So the next one I already said would be your team meetings. If you have a team meeting, and if there's two of you, you need to have a team meeting, because guess what? If you want to be, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, more successful than you are today, then you have to have team meetings now, so that when you hire people, you already have established your team meetings. If you don't have it, and then you hire 3 people within the next 6 months or a year, and you have none of this in place, it's going to be a little more difficult to put in place, but you can still get it there. So have your team meeting. All right. So your team meeting will go until the next one, which is number 9, greeting and teaching time. So greeting and teaching time means you unlock your doors, and that's when people can come in. Now, a little word about this. If you are in a building, let me ask you, think about this. How many times have you gone up to a store that opened at, let's say, 10 a.m. and you got there at 9:50? And you went and rattled the door. It wasn't open. And you saw people walking around in there and everything. Well, why aren't they open me? Why aren't they open? Their business, they open at 10 o'clock. They don't care whether you get there at 9:50. They don't open till 10 o'clock. You're a business. Don't unlock your doors and let people come in and interrupt you in what you're doing until you are supposed to. Now, for us here, we have 3 different doors. We have a new student center, which has 1 door that comes in. And then we have an entrance where that comes into our front desk area, which is on the other side. And then we have an exit door, so that when people come in 1 door, they take class, they go out a different door. So it makes it easy for us to lock the entrance door and don't open it until it's time. And if people show up, we're having our team huddle, team meeting in the in the front area, and it's glass, so they can see that. They're not going to walk in. If they do, we just say, hey, could you wait outside? We're finishing up our meeting. And usually we don't have any problems, unless someone needs to change clothes or something like that, or use the restroom, and we let them go through and do it. But we don't have that much of a problem. But my point is, try not to open your school to let just everybody come in whenever they want to come in, because some of that is messing with you a little bit. It's messing you, throwing your cadence off, throwing your times off. All right. Now, you got your 9 is your greeting and teaching time. That goes from whenever it does until the next one, which is number 10. Number 10 is end of night. Okay. End of night work. What the crap is that? End of night work. What end of night work is, you've taught all your classes. Everybody's gone. They're out the doors. You lock your doors, or maybe not lock your doors, because nobody's usually going to come in your building that late at night. But if there was 2 or 3 of us here, we would lock the doors, and then we would finish our work. Work does not stop when you finish class, and you stand around for 30 minutes and you talk to everybody, and then you all go out the door at the same time. That's old school mentality. And if you have that, I'm asking you to think about changing that. And the reason why is, there's nothing wrong with hanging around 5 or 6 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, to talk to people, because you have to build rapport with people. But at the same time, we literally have people who will stand around at the last class and talk for 20 minutes. And I will stay, because I teach the last class of the night, which is a jiu-jitsu class. I will stay and I'll talk with them for 5 minutes. And then I just leave. They're on one side of the building where all the matted area is, and I'm on the other side. I come in my office. I say, hey guys, I'm going. And I come in. I do my thing at the end of the night. So you need to have an end of the night time. And that's not the time when you walk out the door. That's the time and when you shut everything down. That's the time when you finish up stuff. If you have people who you've enrolled that day and you have not finished doing the enrollment process, that's when you do it. You do it at the end of the night. But I'm tired. I done taught all these classes. I really don't care. Tired is no excuse for not doing what you need to do. I used to work construction, And I worked construction for 30 years. And when I was teaching martial arts, I would go home after construction, take a shower, or just go straight to the dojo and go in the back room and take a birdie bath and change my clothes and teach class till 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night sometimes. So there are no excuses. If you find one, hit it with a 2x4. That's what Miss Jennifer likes to say. Yes, you will be tired. You should be tired. It's called work for a reason. But you need to push yourself. You need to get outside your comfort zone and you need to make this stuff happen. You need to go ahead and do it. Now, if you've enrolled 15 people, then guess what? You can maybe put 2 or 3 of them in there and you can do the rest of them the next day.